Couplesclick TV, and in our last segment we covered finding other swingers and how to get involved in the community and to make those connections. Today on Couplesclick TV, we're going to talk about the first time. Our first time.
Right, which was absolutely hot.
Well, not that first time, but our first time in swinging.
True, very true. It's funny because Brandy and I remember the first time differently. I mean, it's funny every time we mention it. The actual first time was with the single male,
yeah.
And the first time that you remember was with the couple that was actually at our house.
I do remember the first meal. I really, really remember. It was very hot, but it's funny when we talk about it, I always want to go to that first couple because it was our first full swap swing, and the rule change thing. We'll get to that segment later. So back to the first experience.
Yeah, the first experience was we found our original rules were that I was absolutely comfortable with the single male, and if you were with even another couple,
yeah.
You weren't as comfortable with me being with another female.
I had issues.
Yeah, but you know what? I was fine with that.
Yeah, it worked.
And I would have been fine with that even to this day had that rule never changed. But because of that, we actually sought out a single male for the first time, whom we met online through one of the dating sites. And he happened to travel all the way up from Florida to North Carolina and ended up spending the entire weekend.
Yeah, it was 2 full days.
Yeah, at our house. So.
Yeah. So yeah, ladies, it was kind of exciting to know that this guy was willing to do that. And for a first experience, man, what a way to show that online, trying to find somebody online can work. I think we only emailed back and forth 3 or 4 times. His pictures were great. I was definitely physically attracted. When we were emailing, he showed a lot of respect.
Yeah, he was very, for all you single males out there who are watching this, that is the main thing. I mean, he was very respectful of you, certainly of me.
And as a woman, I remember it was important for me to have a single male respect my husband. And he wrote to me in ways that I could tell. He definitely knew I was a married woman. He had absolutely no intentions of causing us any issues. And when I said, I need you to call Chris, he picked up the phone immediately and did it. I mean, those were all genuine signs that this guy was what he said, and then when he decided to drive up and did, it was just awesome. And ladies,
were you nervous?
I was just gonna say, as you can imagine, I was terrified. I mean, not in a scared way, but in that, like when you have to go to give a speech in front of 1 million people, and you know, public speaking's not your thing. All the butterflies, and never did I want to not go through with it. I just remember, I just want to get this started, because that's just my personality. I can get so nervous before the race or before the game or before the speech, but once it starts, everything was...
But what specifically is it about the situation that made you feel nervous? Were you worried about performance? Because that's an issue for guys. I mean, my God, we certainly know, and this is also common for the guys out here who are watching. Performance anxiety is normal.
Normal.
We've seen that happen on a number of occasions, and it just happens.
It does.
But were you nervous about that?
I was more nervous about, I mean, we had been married at this time for 6 years, and very traditional. I mean, we weren't flirtatious. We never, toyed with the idea. It was absolutely not even a thought. So to have come to this point mentally where we were ready to sexually explore things that we didn't even ever consider, I was nervous about another man seeing my body, which seems so silly now, but I'm a little out there now. But I was very nervous about another man seeing my body, touching another man in a way that I hadn't for so many, many years, and making sure that I didn't do anything disrespectful to my husband. That was in the back of my mind, because even though we talked about it, I'm like, is he really gonna be okay if I really enjoy this? And needless to say, ladies, we had a very nice evening, and men, we had a nice interlude, if you will. It was like courting. We had a nice meal and didn't get hammered. There was no obsessive drinking. We had a glass of wine,
Yep.
and I remember we all just kind of looked at each other and said, let's go. And you let us start. If I remember
Yeah.
correctly, you gave us a few minutes alone, and then I remember, I think I called you in, or you kind of came in, and it literally flowed that naturally. It
Yeah.
was just awesome. It was very sexy.
Yeah.
It was very hot.
Yes, it was.
And I mean, we obtained a lifelong friend. We saw
Yeah.
him last year at a
Yeah,
convention.
yeah, sure did. Sure did.
And yeah, it was great.
So the first experience was filled with a lot of questions and a lot of initial nervousness, which is absolutely normal. And thankfully for us, our first experience turned out fantastic. And
So well, in fact, that we woke up the next day and did it again.
that's right.
And I
Absolutely.
think 2 more times before we went home.
Yes.
We were going to make sure we worked that all out. I mean, we lived a long ways away. We had to get a lot of action in.
You got it. You got it. And you know, that was our first experience, and I think next time we should probably talk about the first couple, because although our first experience was I call it confined within the rules,
Right.
Our next experience really
We pushed it a little.
paved the way for everything
Yeah.
to change. So maybe that's what we should talk about next time.
That's perfect. That's
Okay.
perfect. So stay tuned, and you won't want to miss the next one. See ya.